Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenore and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Sagittarius. If Sagittarius is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so, Sagittarius, this is a bonus reading. And our card tonight is the World card, okay? The world on your back, right? That's not always the energy, though. I like to think of it more as like the universe card. Things all coming into their place, or at least the perception arriving, where we can see that everything is as it should be. Okay, let's take a look. Let's see what these tea leaves are going to tell us today. Immediately, I'm looking in the middle. We have the letter T right there. Okay, so the letter T, important. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. If you want to hit the like button or leave a comment, I would love to hear from you, especially if you are new to the channel. Let me know. Shout it out. Okay, so I want to go, I'm going to turn back this way, and I'm looking at a person. It looks like standing here. You can see the head, the kind of the nose, the eyes, the mouth is open. Here's the neck going down into the body, the arm or hand holding, and it looks like a compass to me. Okay, so a compass used in drafting, or, you know, basically for making circles. For making circles. And I was like, is that right? Yes, it is. And so also, right, it's for measuring, right? When you are making precise shapes. And their sizes and everything else. I think of every time when I think of a compass is like making blueprints, right? Or something like this on graph paper. So anyways, and then I see we have the sun up here. Okay. So for me, although this is not directly so, you know, but in my mind, it is telling me there's like this need for measurement of time, or this desire to maybe kind of sort out your schedule. You're planning something, maybe a trip, maybe some kind of event, or figuring out, you know, all of the mini errands you have to run. Going to work, dropping off the kids, getting them to the next thing, getting home, making dinner, you know, all this kind of stuff. And it's, you know, if you've ever been a parent or taking care of anybody, including yourself, right? We've all been in those places where, we're like jamming as much as we can into one day, trying to get things sorted. So I feel like in this time, there is this kind of energy of being in charge of the schedule. Now, it might not have anything to do with kids, right? I know I bring them up and people say, I don't have kids. My kids are grown up, or, you know, what have you. It's a relatable example, mostly for myself, because I'm in the thick of raising a child, a 4-year-old. But, you know, I think it's pretty much a universal experience, not everybody, you know, but we can understand. You can understand, even if you don't have kids, what it is to, you know, have a lot of responsibilities around taking care of family. So I feel like this is a big focus. Okay, schedule, schedule, schedule. Now, this might feel like, yeah, that world kind of on your back right there. Just absolutely trying to get through the thing, do the thing, while also, you know, living your life, trying to find some enjoyment there, trying to fit it in. And, you know, I'm looking at this and it does feel like there's some amount of anxiety, but I feel like this is a happy place for you. I kind of wonder if you really thrive when there's a lot going on, right? You like to stay busy. It's kind of when things are really slow and there's not too much to plan for that you kind of begin to spin your wheels a little bit. But the moment it starts to get busy, you're just in that mode. You know what to do. Everything starts flowing so seamlessly for you because your mind is just, you know, one of those people who really, really performs well under pressure. Now, is this always what you want? Maybe not, probably not, but you are really good at it. Okay, so I do feel like this is kind of, you know, maybe you, you know, don't look forward to being the one that is in charge of the itinerary, but you're the best one for the job, if that makes sense. So, yeah, I think this is kind of the energy of what's going on here right now. Now, and we can hear TT, she's outside the door meowing, hollering at me. We have up here it's most of the plate. We have a cardinal. You can see, no, not a cardinal. I'm sorry. Wait. Yeah, no, it's a blue jay. A blue jay. No, is it a cardinal? No, you can't. I haven't seen my blue jays in so long that I'm like, what? It is the cardinal with the peak right there. It's the cardinal. At my last house, I had 2 pairs of blue jays. I was always, you know, feeding, and I would see them every day. And now I miss them so much. I think about them like quite often. But yes, when the cardinal comes around, right, we know that the cardinal represents a beloved, transitioned, or somebody who's passed away, somebody you know, that you were close with, somebody that you've been thinking about. And it's a sign of, hey, I'm here to tell you that I love you. I'm still around, you know, in some capacity, and you are loved, right? So yeah, looking out the, you know, kitchen window in the morning and you see a little bright red spot kind of bouncing around in the trees, you know, it's mom, it's dad, it's maybe grandma, grandpa, you know, some beloved person coming to say hello. So this one's really large, and I do feel that it's a visitation that is really wanted. I think that this is maybe a time of year where there are some anniversaries or birthdays or something, right, happening. And it's reminding you of these family members that have passed. Okay. And so I feel there's like really this desire that you have for them to visit you, to let you know that they're around, that they're okay. But, you know, just to immerse yourself in the feeling of them, the sensation of them being present in your life. And so I feel like this is a huge confirmation. Okay. Definitely not something to be ignored, right? And I wouldn't be surprised if they continue to visit you, if this is like just kind of like maybe you have been having dreams, or you know, objects have been moving around in the house, or maybe something of theirs has that you have, one of their belongings has maybe kind of moved, right? Or been taken out, or you came upon it, right? You're cleaning out your closet and you think, oh my gosh, this was my grandmother's, you know, Bible or something. And so you start thinking, like, I feel, you know, like she's around, but, and then you have a dream and you're thinking, oh, maybe it's just me thinking about her. But then this confirmation comes through and it's, yeah, no, that she is around. They are around. You know, and it doesn't have to be grandma. These are examples, but, yeah, definitely very present in your life. You're somebody who absolutely, honors your ancestors, your elders, those who have preceded you. And so, you know, it's a beautiful feeling. This is something to be joyous about, not something to lament. This feeling of, you know, longing for them and to be near them. Okay. So we also have a telephone right here. So that tells me absolutely a message coming through as well. Something pretty clear. Okay, not just the kind of, oh, I know you're around. So this is why I think, yeah, you'll be having like a dream or something, a vision. Maybe even, depending on kind of your level of clarity and openness, a visitation in the waking world, right? So maybe they show up at your house, right? They're standing at the end of your bed, or something along the lines of that. If you are somebody who perceives departed people, okay? So let's go ahead. All right, so we have a volcano. We have a volcano. We have and it feels, oh gosh, it does feel like there have been moments here of arguing. I mean, I can hear it as soon as I'm looking, and I see up here, it looks like two people maybe getting into a pretty heated discussion. And then here, two more people, but then we have this kind of, you know, a back and forth. It looks like it's kind of going in a cycle here. The volcano is located right here, you can see. Okay, and here's kind of the top of it. So I feel like this is kind of related to your domestic situation, okay? I don't know that this is necessarily your spouse or significant other. This might be your children, your child, your adult child, parent, somebody who's living with you, somebody who you are living with. But it does seem like you go through the same arguments every so often. There's just kind of, and I feel like it's related around like maybe housework or finances, or, you know, somebody say, I'm going to do something and they don't do it. You know, these kinds of things that happen when we share space with other people, right? When we live together. You know, even the best of us who do all that we can to, you know, take care of our end of things. You know, sometimes we make mistakes or we forget to do things or whatever. Or maybe we're on the other end of it. We're the ones that are doing a lot of stuff, and then, you know, your roommate or your sibling who's like staying with you or whoever it is, they're just not picking up after themselves. They're not loading the dishes. They're not locking the doors at night, or, you know, these are the little, man, they're the things that really kind of get us, you know? And so I feel that, yeah, you're maybe in a cycle of being kind of disconnected from one another, not on the same page. And I do feel like this is adding to that stressful feeling. But then on top of that, with you going through this period of time where you are working on that routine, trying to get into a place where you feel, you know, kind of in charge of what you're doing in your life, right? And especially if this is like going on vacation or planning out the rest of the summer or whatever it is, trying to get everything to fit together and get everything done that you need to, that can feel pretty stressful. When you also have somebody that you're sharing your home with that is just kind of, you know, not participating in the greater harmony of the household, right? They're just kind of doing their thing and not taking care of their part of this. Or maybe that's you. Maybe you are going through a period of time where, yeah, you're maybe slacking off a little bit. But it does feel like this is kind of an, you know, it feels like unnecessary stress. Although, listen, I get it. I'm a Virgo. I like my house run a certain way. I always kind of joke. I'm like, you know, if you've ever watched Downton Abbey, I feel like I'm the head maid or whatever. The what are they called? The one that manages the house. Not the butler, but the other. What is her name? I've watched that show so many times. I got my husband into it. Shout out to Devin Serpentero. I got him really into it. He even has like a Downton Abbey shirt somewhere. But yes, I do feel there is this. Oh no, I was gonna say I'm the house manager, yeah. And I do feel like this is kind of, you know, the position that you get put in at times, right? And there's just conflict. And when things just devolve, that's what it feels like. They start to devolve, right? And one mess turns into 10 messes, and the stacks of things on the counters and, you know, in the garage, and what the car is a mess, you know, and it just begins to feel like too much, and you want help or you need to help or whatever. And it turns into this kind of situation where everybody's a little teed off, right? And so we also have up here, we have the moth. We have Mothman up here. And if you know anything about Mothman, it is kind of the dude that shows up right before something ominous is about to happen, right? So, you know, I'm looking at this and it's like, there's something needs to occur here. Something needs to happen here that will kind of de-escalate the situation. So if that is like finding a day where everybody can kind of help get the house in order, you know, if it is assigning chores, being very clear about who does what, and, you know, having consequences. Now, I know if you have a roommate or this is like another adult person in your house, it's hard to say you're not going to watch TV if you don't do your laundry, get it off the floor. But, you know, there needs to be a conversation. What are we going to do here? How are we going to do this? And that's the thing. The communication you got to de-escalate that as well. Don't go in there hot. Go in there with a plan. You know, maybe making some kind of chart or like a list of things, and everybody kind of picks one, and then you spend a day getting some of this stuff done, right? So easier said than done, I know. Believe me, I understand it. But I do think this is important so that it doesn't just get into that place of everything going haywire, right? Okay, let's see. Now we have so we have a baby deer right here. And we have AS. I almost wonder if this is a name or part of a name. We also have an M up here. It looks like it almost looks like EME. Or EMO. Emo, maybe? I don't know. But definitely EM, I see. So we have AS and EM. And we have that baby deer, and we have a flower right next to her. So I just feel like there's such this feeling that it is like a wanting for a shedding of all of this stuff that you're carrying with you. And it's not, I don't know that it's anything beyond the tedium, right? Within the mundane world. I feel like this is just so many little, you know, like microaggressions, so many little arguments, so many little, you know, even like negative thinking, putting yourself down, worrying about things that can't be done right now. All of this stuff adding up to like a fever pitch, right? And just this feeling of, I want to step outside of this. I want to get to a place where I just feel renewed, where I can wake up and I feel like I have some energy. I'm not just like, ugh, another day to face. I want to rise with the sun and think, oh, there's a lot of opportunities here. I can't wait to get to work on things. You know, but it's hard. It's hard to do that. It's hard to get to that. But at the same time, it's simple, right? It's like one of those things. You know, I have talked about in my readings, you know, quite often, I'm in recovery for substance abuse, okay? I just got 8 years a few months ago. And, you know, I have sponsored people. I'm involved in, you know, different systems of recovery and so on. So I talk to people a lot about recovery. And one of the biggest things that people ask, of course, and this was my big question too when I was, you know, many times I was trying to get myself into recovery over the years, how do I quit? And it's like on one side of it, it's such a complex thing. There's so many moving parts. And the reality of it, it's like you just stop. Just stop. Yeah, is it going to be comfortable? No. No. Is there compulsion there? Yeah, absolutely. Do you have to change your whole life, the way that you're living, the people you're around, the way that you kind of filter information and your emotional reactions? And, you know, there's a big list here. Yes, you have to do all of that. But at the very single core of it, it is, yeah, you just got to stop. It's that simple, yet it's very complex. It's the same thing with the worrying, with the anxiety. Now, I'm somebody who has, GA and SA, general anxiety and social anxiety, diagnosed, by the way. I'm not just self-diagnosed. I'm unmedicated, so that's not to say that I don't support people, doing what you need to do, whatever it is. And I am a big supporter of, of people seeking out therapy, counseling, psychiatry, all of that stuff. I'm just saying, I understand because I do. I have anxiety, and I just kind of have different things that I implement to deal with that. And that's not boasting. I'm not virtue signaling or whatever that's called. I just am explaining. So I know anxiety is not something we just decide I'm not going to be anxious right now. It doesn't really work that way. But it is. It's about making a decision to get this process going, right? Finding a way, or finding that little crack in the door, right, to begin to pry open. How am I going to change my circumstances so that I can get to this place I want to be in? Letting go of the anger, the anxiety, the resentments, the shouldas, couldas, wouldas. And a lot of that comes down to action, okay? Doing things that make you feel empowered in your own life, right? When I have something big come up in my life, right? There's something happening. I don't know, what can I do in this moment? There's nothing. I just have to wait, right? This is something I got to be patient for. It's in the hands of other people or whatever. I don't like that feeling. It makes me feel like I have no control, and then it seeps over into every other aspect of my life, and I'm just all wound up. So what do? This is a good time to be learning things. If I feel super anxious, I go and I find something I need to work on in the house, something that I've been wanting to know how to do, and then I go on YouTube. Then I go on Reddit. Then I go on the internet. Then I start looking up, well, how do I do this? I need a how-to. And then I teach myself how to get this done. My most recent thing, we have a lot of mosquitoes. Lots of them. Lots of them. It's been a very wet, very wet spring and summer. So instead of spraying, because they're not going to spray, I've been researching. I got a bat house. We're going to put a bunch of bat houses out. Well, a few anyways. Houses to draw in bats so they can, roost in them, but they eat so many mosquitoes. And so now I feel empowered. Now, am I really doing anything? Maybe not. I'm setting up a house for bats, and I'm hoping and praying. But it does. It makes me feel like I'm doing something in my life, and I am empowered. And it does. It relinquishes some of that anxiety. And so it can be anything. It can be anything. This is how we empower ourselves, through knowledge, to combat those places in our life where we feel like we can't. It's like this immovable boulder right in front of us. How do I get around that? By empowering yourself. Okay? So, let's go over here. We're going to take a look at our divine doors, and I'm just going to flip through. Ooh, and I'm going to stop where it feels right. Ooh, the blue door, a blue door. This isn't the same one I remember. Okay, let's turn it over. It says secret sketches. Wander and seek the familiar and friendly kind. Draw memories and sketches for others to find. Beautiful. Do you wander around with a sketchbook, or have you ever? It's such a fun way to experience the world. Get yourself like a little notepad or sketchbook and just go draw stuff. Be that person at the coffee shop drawing things. Okay. Sagittarius, I'm going to tell you I love you because I do, and I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And if you'd like to leave a comment, please do. I read them all. They mean the world to me. And what else? Yeah, if you're new to the channel, shout it out. Okay, I thank you and I love you. Take care of yourself. We'll talk in a couple days. Good night.